We're going to do another walk and talk. We're doing it in May, and we are walking across the globe. That's the goal. We're 2 days in since I've started actually measuring what we're doing on our walk and talk. So what I have been doing, I've been compiling all our steps on a daily basis. And when we put them together, translating them to kilometers. I know you guys do miles, but close enough. You get the idea of what we're doing here. So translating that to kilometers, and we start logging where we are. So we're starting from Toronto in Canada, and we're walking, all of us. We've had incredible numbers. Some days are awesome. Some days, we're a little bit, but it doesn't really matter because what we're doing is we're compiling all the steps on a daily basis, and we're going to see where we can go. So from today's second day in, first day from Toronto, we clocked 76 kilometers. And that's from Toronto to St. Catharines, okay, which is getting us closer to the US. And I was thinking about this. What would be beneficial on this fun little journey is maybe we hit different landmarks in the US and then around the world. But right now, we've added on with yesterday, which was 64 kilometers. We're in Niagara Falls right now. If we're marking, right now we've walked from Toronto to Niagara Falls, which is 140 kilometers of steps. So that's just my group. Now, I know that Cece and I have been talking. There's others that are wanting to participate, which I'm totally pumped that you want to participate. My group is full, but that does not mean that we stop. So Cece needs some people for her group, and we'll start logging Cece's numbers as well into ours. So that means that we're going to even go farther. So right now, this is strictly the Authentic You Power Talk numbers, but we're open to expanding to see where we can go. This is more like talk radio. We have different people from all over the globe that will hop on the stage, ask questions, share stories, and it's beautiful. You might be asking, like, how does that even happen? There's a plus button beside my face. You hit that plus button, it puts you in queue. We'll call you guys up. Unless you feel inspired that you want to come up a little bit sooner, you're always welcome. And then the other part, which is my favorite, there is a button located at the bottom of the iPhone, or you can send me a chat. I call it the show me some love button. So we want to hit that button. Why? Because, and I'm going to ask you to hit it right now. Hit that button right now because you're syncing up your energy. It's about creating the space in order to ensure that we have the good stuff coming in. We want the good stuff, which means, hey, truth, there's no judgment. It's very inclusive, and it's a whole sense of belonging. So the more we can sync up our energy, the better the flow will be in the discussion. And I say this from a professional standpoint. I do it all the time. And any sort of meeting I have, if it's either retreat space or if I'm in a corporate function, or even with my team, with coaching clients, I'm always setting space because I want to make sure, and believe it or not, I might set space, and this is actually a good point, before even the conversation happens. So we know that there's good intentions in this space, and then anything that isn't welcome to that, we can shift very quickly. Okay, so thank you for syncing up your energy. Who do we got here? Who is here today? Awesome. I've got Alicia, Andrew, Jennifer, Michelle, Kathy, Truth, Miss L, Tasha, Dawn, Lisa, Molly, Andrew, Sandy's here, Jessica, Cindy, Faith. I'll do two more. Anita, 15K, Anita. If I get off this and you're above that, I'll definitely be sending you a message tonight. Amazing. We got Terry here and Valerie, Jason, Jen Bailey. So I want to welcome you guys. And tonight we are going to talk about the way we can avoid ourselves. And I hope you guys understand what I mean. When I say that, I'm talking about the way we avoid ourselves by not checking in with ourselves. We will bypass things. And it's not because we don't necessarily know how, but we've learned that avoiding it is just the best way to handle everything. And that's not true. It's just simply not true. What does avoidance look like? And see if anything comes up for you. I'm starting to wean myself off of coffee. I drink a lot of coffee. And I recently have had like a session with a nutritionist, and this is going to be quite a journey. But I'm really happy that I've done that because it helped me recognize, like, holy crow, I drink a lot of coffee. And I was thinking that I was doing that for a good reason. Like, oh yeah, it just keeps me going. But I'm overcompensating. This is what I've come to learn. And I'm avoiding the fact that my adrenals, which we all have, are probably really tired because I've been in go mode for so long. And I share this story because I think many of us, without realizing it, we've been in go mode for so long and we just distract ourselves. And drinking coffee, believe it or not, this is where tonight's conversation came from, is mine. It's another stimulant that would just keep me going. But anyways, I want us to understand, and I want you to listen to think about, where are you avoiding yourself? Is it you stay extremely busy? Are you saying yes to everything? Do you constantly overschedule things, always filling your calendar? Are you excessively productive? And from the outside, it totally looks like you're on top of things. But on the inside, you haven't even checked in. Not even once. You are just go, 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 doing your thing, thinking that, okay, everyone's rewarding you on the outside. And because we don't want to deal with the fact that we're tired, we don't want to actually let anyone down, we just keep saying yes to the point of exhaustion. But I really want you to think about, have you checked in with yourself? And this is what it would look like. It could be when something feels off. It could be maybe you're feeling discomfort, tension, frustration, fatigue. And what are you doing about it? Are we just going to continue to push through and pretend that these signs or indicator or signals are not significant when they really are? So what do we usually do if we're not addressing it? We will scroll, we'll numb out with Netflix. Like, I think I've been doing this for decades. I've been drinking, use the coffee analogy. I have been drinking coffee for decades while I was in university, while I was in highly stressful jobs, all the time. And when I have my conversation with the nutritionist, she's like, okay, how many coffees are you having? 1 or 2? I'm like, nope. 5 or 6? Nope. Probably about 10 cups of coffee a day. I'm just being honest. That's how ingrained it is. I'll be having a conversation with something. I want a coffee. I want, a comfort conversation. I like my coffee. But I'm going to just like swap out and have herbal teas and stuff like that. But the reason why I'm sharing this with you guys is that for me, I'm realizing it's coffee. For someone else, it could be scrolling, sitting there doom scrolling. I don't want to talk to anyone. I'm just going to scroll mindlessly and shut down. But that's not listening to yourself. That's actually avoiding. Or do Netflix and you're binge watching and you lose time. And really, the reason why we're doing that is because we're trying to distract ourselves. We want to do something where no one's going to talk to us, no one's going to bother us. We can sit there in that space and feel like, okay, no one can say anything. I'm just watching the show. But really, you're numbing. You're numbing out. You're avoiding what's really going on. And then you wonder, if you come to someone like me and you're like, well, why can't I shake this? Why do I still feel like this? And it's because we didn't do anything about it. We just numbed. Like for me, just have more coffee. Even if I was fatigued, have more coffee. I had so much coffee that I didn't even know I was fatigued. But now when I'm starting to change the routine and I'm bringing awareness into this physicality piece, I'm like, wow, it really makes me realize how long I have been masking with coffee. And it's funny, isn't it? Because it is an addictive substance, but coffee is accepted. So it's okay. No one really questions that if you have a coffee. But if I was doing drugs, people would be like, oh gosh, she's got a problem. But now I'm realizing I need to self-regulate. I need to stop avoiding that. Maybe my system needs a break. I need to recalibrate, rebalance for this next chapter in my life so I can feel good. And I do feel good, but I'm sharing this because eventually you start to slow down a bit and you're like, what is going on? Well, it's because it kind of catches up with you. You can only avoid for so long. And what happens is that people, this is a big thing. This is a lot of the work that I do. A lot of people don't want to feel because we have not been educated properly around emotions. We think it's going to get messy. It's going to be brutal. I don't want to go there, but it will catch up with you because it's going to slow you down. You know, the saying how sometimes we'll say, okay, I can keep going, but eventually your body is going to shut down, like saying, hey, I can't do this anymore. And this is why I think this topic is important, because for our physical side, we have to honor what our body needs, especially as we're getting older. What are those messages? Do we even know how to connect? And if we're doom scrolling, we're not connecting. And if we're distracting with many other things, could be a gazillion other things, and we are not aware, that's when we start creating these patterns that are not healthy. Because slowing down scares us, because we live in a performative society that tells us if we slow down, then we're ineffective. And that means that things are going to actually catch up with you. But no one really wants to talk about that part because it's a little bit, it's foreign. It's like, oh gosh, if I slow down, is it weakness? Is it laziness? All these things, all these words, right? Are you being idle? Like, we need to make sure that we are not continuing the pattern over and over again. Remember, disconnection is another form of protection, believe it or not. So I'll use myself again because I have a gazillion examples all the time. When I would come home after a long day and being in HR, I would have all these people all the time in my office. I would come home and I wouldn't want to talk to anybody. Wouldn't want to talk to my friends. Wouldn't want to talk to even like anyone in my space. I just wanted to sit quietly in front of the TV or sit on my phone, whatever it was, in order to feel like, okay, But the problem is that will catch up with you because you can't fuel yourself from a place of disconnection. And many of us have taught ourselves that it's safer to push through, stay strong, don't feel too much, just keep bypassing. These are patterns that you've probably done throughout your whole life. I did not realize that this was one of mine. I have very high energy, and I always have. But now I'm questioning. I'm like, I wonder if the coffee has something to do with it. And I think these are healthy questions to have because, I'm really leaning towards this idea of wholeness and being connected and what health really means. That means connecting with yourself, listening to yourself, not distracting, not pushing through, not listening to and missing the cues that might be shared with you, like physically, and realizing that it's not worth the cost. It's not worth the cost of being tired and you just keep going because either you're people pleasing, you don't want to let anyone be upset, and you just keep going through that cycle. Okay, I'm going to pause here. I'll bring Jeanette up and see what she says. See what Jeanette has to say.
Hello.
How's it going?
Good. How are you?
Good. Very good. Thank you.
So I avoid when I know something is wrong, like I'm having
Good one.
issue with thing or upset about something. And I avoid it both with myself and even more so if it's with another person.
Mm-hmm.
So with myself, I'm just like, well, if I just wait, it'll go away, which is always not true. And I just like, well, or I'll deal with it later. And then if it's with another person, I'll say, I'll just fix it myself.
Right.
Like, I don't have to talk to them or tell them about it or be vulnerable.
Right.
I'm just going to absorb it and fix it.
Oh, boy.
So, yeah, definitely a pattern for me.
Well, and I think it's interesting because, when I I'll coach a lot of leaders in organizations and they'll be like, oh, Kristina, it's just easier if I do it. It's easier if I do it. And I'm like, oh, no.
Yeah.
Because when you do that, they never learn because you're jumping in and you're trying to avoid something, but that's where the pattern will repeat because they don't have awareness around it.
Makes sense.
Right? And how often does that happen, Jeanette?
Oh, I'd say at least a couple times a month.
Oof. And is it working for you?
No. No, I'm much more aware of it now, and I am working on it. So it's going a little better.
Yeah, I think that's great. I think when you have the awareness, I know we mentioned with you in particular with the chameleon mask, and it was fascinating to kind of like do a bit of a deep dive on that.
Yeah.
When we are in that space, and you're one of many, like everyone has different masks, but the chameleon mask, if we have our masks on, it will avoid, like we won't be able to be our authentic self. We just can't get there.
Yeah. Yeah. And the lie we tell ourselves is that that's better.
Right. And
but
safer.
It's not.
Exactly.
It's not, because you're just like pushing yourself down into a deep hole, and you're going to have to climb out of it to be yourself, to be happy, to experience life, to be joyful.
Yeah.
So it's a lie that it's helping you in any way.
Yeah.
You have to be yourself, and you have to tell people how you really feel.
Yeah. I agree. And it may have protected you at a certain point in your life.
Yeah.
But it could be a limiter to you right now. right? So sometimes that's why we need to, recognize that it's there. And then you can create small little baby steps to just be curious with it, to experiment, like even to, okay, I'm going to speak up on this one and see what they say.
Yeah.
And it could be a small thing, but it's almost like working a muscle to build it up.
Yeah. Yeah. I have been doing this.
It's amazing.
With my mom.
Oh, good.
And it's been going really well. So I was so guarded.
Yes.
Against her that it was like she couldn't hurt me anymore. She couldn't love me either. She couldn't touch me because I was so guarded.
Right.
So I was like, she's 80 and I'm not happy with this state of affairs.
Right.
So I'm going to see what I can do.
Excellent.
And so I've just been showing up, just being like, it's okay. Mom's going to be mom. It's okay. Just let her be herself. If she hurts me a little bit, it's not going to be that bad. She actually loves me.
Right.
So
super powerful. And I think many can relate to this with the mom relationship, because I think what you said was so powerful for people to understand. Yeah, you have the wall there. You have the wall there that's protecting you, but love can't get in and love can't get out. So it's like this blocker. And the only person who can really control that is you. And I think Jeanette did a beautiful job with explaining how this reconnection with her mom, I get this. It resonates with me 1,000,000%. I've seen it with many clients and even with myself, where you have to decide what you're okay with. And you have to remember also, many of, I hate to say it this way, but like the older generation, it was just like us, brought up about like, ooh, we're not going to share emotions too much. That gets messy. Suck it up. Buck up, kiddo. That was what I used to hear, like, you're too emotional. Hold it in. And what that did, just like Jeanette said, you start to build a wall because you don't want to get hurt anymore. I totally get that. But sometimes we have to be the teachers for others. We have to take the lead with what we're comfortable with. And I think you're doing really great things when you are showing up. It is in your life. And showing up in your life looks like, I'm going to sit down and visit mom. Even though sometimes she can be nasty. She doesn't mean to be nasty. It's like how she talks, or this is how she is at times. Or, she just doesn't know how to connect. But that's okay. It's about the relationship that you have with yourself and how you're engaging in that space that makes it extremely powerful. And when we understand that, it's a game changer. The relationships don't impact you the same way. They can't hurt you the same way because you're much more fluid. So when something is fluid, it has more flex instead of a hard, solid surface that it's going to break or it's going to crack and it's going to feel uncomfortable. You get to choose if you're going to be solid or more fluid in the situation. And when we are looking at ourselves and being in alignment, to me, that's being much more fluid, because your truest self is starting to surface and understands that it's very worthy of beautiful conversations and love from oneself and from others. Okay. So what's going on?
We can just do it the old fashioned. Like, I have a lady that we dated a few times back in 2018, and I got her into the cycling club, and she is a good friend. She's about 5 years older than me. She shares the same energy, and we have dated other people, and we check in Wednesdays on a pretty regular basis. And there's this, I was expressing a little bit of frustration in that, well, there's coming up, there's one of these speed dating things on the 19th, but since I've gone to one before, they want all new people for my age group. And then there's supposed to be a really big event on like Sunday the 6th, but I'm going to be clear out in the middle of Nebraska, starting to ride back to the east. Well, it's a ride that I've done a couple times before, and I want to do it. I'm going to go do it. And then I think there's one, like maybe that Saturday or something. There's another one in that week of the 55 plus that I can't make it to. But there's one coming up like next Tuesday.
Okay.
And we're just gonna go to this local theater and watch a little like 20-minute thing. What do you call these? It's like a 20-minute reel that she's put together on this whole speed dating company that she started up. And and then afterwards there'll be a little question and answer, and then there's going to be about an hour of mixer, and it's open to all ages.
Okay.
It's clear down on the south side. It's Tuesday night, so it's going to be my Bowflex workout night. So that's going to have to get pushed to Wednesday. And then it'll become Wednesday, Friday. And then here comes the negative part of me. It's like,
I'm waiting.
You keep showing up for these. And you keep wondering, where's the person that's looking for a fit 66-year-old that can actually see my light, that doesn't want to push me into a box, that wants to accept the person that they got in front of them, not mold me into some freaking thing. And possibly the subscript is like, well, how come my quote unquote acquaintances and other friends that are married and whatever, that I would not date, how come they can see my light but the others can't? And so
go ahead.
The friend and I, she dated one guy a couple years ago, and it just got to the point where he wanted to sit and watch reruns of Wagon Trail, and she didn't want to do that. She's active even at 71 and wants to go do stuff.
Nice.
And so the question got pounced back and forth. At this point in time, is it better just to focus on having a happy single life? Or do you go out there and kind of try to search a little and then possibly face frustration? I talked through it pretty good in my head, but it's like, I still don't know.
Can I share what I think?
Sure.
Okay. I think it's about you living your life. And because there's a different energy that you put out at that point rather than looking for someone. When we're looking for someone, it infers that there's pieces of us missing. We may not be really thinking that, but subconsciously there's something. But when you are living your life, and this doesn't mean that you can't go to fun events like that. I've done speed dating. It was super fun. But I was more like the experience and trying new things. Maybe there's other cycling events and stuff where you're doing you. And I honestly feel as though they're going to see you in your environment. And anybody who sees you in your environment will automatically see how you shine. The funny thing about speed dating, if we're going to be frank, it's really hard to have a clear assessment of someone in 3 minutes. That doesn't really nurture real depth. And Stephen, you're a depth guy through and through, and you've done your work. And there's so much going on there that being in that kind of environment, I can see how it wouldn't necessarily be a match at the end of it. You can go and have fun, set the intention that way. But I think it's more you doing your stuff, keep being adventurous, keep putting yourself out there. And I believe that's when we start attracting in people, places, things that will align with that next chapter. Many times we think in relationship that we are half a circle. We are not half a circle. We are a full circle. We're looking for another full circle, not a half circle. Because if you're finding a half circle, they're going to expect you to overcompensate for them. You want another, and then when you guys come together with another circle, that's when you start 2 super circles and it's like a supercharger. Steven's coming back.
Yeah.
Hey.
And you hit that because I have talked with some people. Well, the lady that I was with between November and January, it's like, can we just keep it light and stuff? Because I kind of brought up some stuff on this app and was kind of, but I was like, oh, I see. I can't get there with you. And I've kind of said some stuff to some other people, and somebody was like, wow, that's a little too deep for me. And I was thinking to myself, oh, damn it, I've outgrown some folks that I just didn't realize it.
Yeah.
And in a way, it's sort of exciting.
It is.
And in another way, it's sort of sad because it's like, oh, you don't get me.
Yeah. It's more about shedding the old version of you, right? So when that happens, it's literally a sign that you've outgrown them, because I see you and I know depth. You need to have depth. Like, there's no way. I'm a depth person too, but they're out there. You have to understand, a lot of people haven't done the work. They are not far on the progression. They're just starting to explore. So someone who's been on this journey for 5-6 years, it's really hard to be a match at that level.
Yeah. And so there are times when I have, I've asked some pointed questions. Something to the effect, I love this question, especially, it only works for the married people, but or widowed/divorced. It's like, so there's this period between you were graduated high school and then you got married. Actually, got married when I was 28. It's 10 years. And I learned how to pay bills and do all the responsible stuff at that point. And so then you find out where they're at on that. And I'm drawing a blank as to, there's been some other questions. Because if somebody, I listen for keywords.
Yes.
And sometimes they'll say something that you can kind of hear some recovery or therapy talk or something like that. It's like, oh, I'm guessing you might have done a little work. Tell me about that.
Yeah. Yeah. I find it fascinating. I love those conversations.
Well, I do too. And it's, I have put it out there many times in comments. There's some singles groups that I'm in on Facebook and that. And I've put it out there. It's like, look, I ain't looking to complete anybody. I'm looking for another full human being to walk beside me and hang out.
Yeah.
And if you can't do that, I'm not really looking for a project. And I'm like, yeah, and you just don't understand. And so basically, here we are again. You're making a negative comment, and it still has nothing to do with me.
I think that, believe it or not, that one ask is a big ask, because, and I think it's worth the wait, because a lot of people have been stunted in their growth emotionally, spiritually, because they haven't looked at their stuff. So to come out of it on the other end, and you have someone who has, that is worth such a rich experience, because you're not fixing anybody. You're actually engaging and being with a partner. It's very powerful.
Yeah. There's somebody that's in the Psycho Club that's going through probably a divorce right now.
Yeah.
And they have mentioned on a Facebook post, they mentioned Gabor Mate and Brene Brown both.
And I love what you said, right? Like you can see, hey, this person's connected into deep personal growth, spiritual growth, all this stuff. You're like, yeah, those are my peeps. Absolutely. But you got to put yourself out there and not go backwards to the old version of you and try to make it work. When you have moved into alignment, into this more expansive place for yourself, when we get scared, we want to retract. We want to go back to the old way. But no, you're in creator space. So honestly, it's about, back to tonight's topic, not to avoid yourself, reconnect with yourself, know that you're creating, be expansive, try new things, and do the things that you love. And I can't stress that enough. I think we've lost that along the way, because when we meet some of these people, Stephen, and they're a part of themselves, then there's a piece there that still feels pretty heavy. I don't know if you guys know what that means, but intuitively it feels very heavy, because they're kind of carrying their baggage. They might secretly be doing it. They may not even know that they're doing it. I'm not here to judge it. But if anything, the most important relationship you need to have is with yourself, where we start trusting ourselves. We're not abandoning ourselves. We're listening to the cues, and we're not avoiding ourselves with, like for me, with coffee, or with dealing with drama, or talking. Like, I've seen it so many different ways. But when we want to really lean in, you'll know what works for you, because you're connecting in. So I love the example, Stephen, because, speed dating, automatically, it's easy to go, okay, well, this is where I need to go. But if you've gone and it's not connecting, it's not a surprise, because it's pretty quick, right? It's like, I'm going to find love in 3 minutes. No. I think you're worth a lot more than that. And I think the more you really see, and I honestly feel this, Stephen, this is actually funny, not funny, but it is going to be someone who's gone through a divorce. It is going to be someone who's gone through this life cycle, their own journey. And then you guys find each other in a more healthy, balanced place. And to me, that is extremely powerful. I love that. So I just want to pause there. Well, we're doing a lot of walk and talking today. I want us to pause long enough to notice things. I want you to pause when you're reaching out for a distraction, when you're trying to override a feeling. Maybe you feel uncomfortable and you're reaching for food to like emotionally eat, or distraction that you start doom scrolling. But when you start to fill the space differently because you're noticing it, you may not grab your phone as a distractor tool. You might actually get up and walk, or you may not grab that food. Maybe you'll go and, clean a room. But it's the awareness piece that is so powerful, because when we stop moving away from ourselves, we start actually opening a new path of connection. And you start asking yourself questions like this: what am I avoiding right now? What would I feel if I actually slowed down? Whoa, is that ever a big one? Many people don't know how to slow down. Have you ever been in a house with someone who can't stop? It happens in workplaces, but I'll just do the house thing. Like, where maybe it's a mom, a grandma who's just putting everything. Can't sit down to enjoy a conversation. And when we understand that, it's like, oh man, yeah, it's sure. You have a clean house, but you're not connecting. You're busy, but it's the point that we need to slow down. And when we see that, what do you see? And $1 million question: if you are your own best friend, what do I need that I'm not giving myself? What is it? You'll be able to give it to other people, but what do you need? And can you give it to yourself? And if not, how do you go on the explore in order to do that? Because you, in fact, it's you. You are the connection, the alignment, and the direction that you're looking for. It's not out there. It's underneath all the noise, all these concepts. And I talked about this the day before, this insight, but the idea of wonder. We live in a wonderful world, believe it or not. And when we're children, we can be in wonder, in awe, learning how to walk, learning how to touch. We see a tree, we see a dog, all this stuff. And the insight that came in for me was that the world hasn't changed. There's still trees and dogs and a whole world out there. It's us. It's us that change because we get caught up in self-limiting beliefs. We start getting frustrated. We start telling ourselves stories like we're not enough. How are you supposed to look at the world in awe and wonder for what it is when you're busy kind of attacking yourself? When we're children, we don't do that. We don't care if our pants are dirty until our parents tell us, oh, no. Honestly, the element of play, getting out there, we can still do that. And the reason why I think it's really important to do that is because it's a form of connection. And we're connecting to ourselves and we're not avoiding who we are. And I think it's extremely powerful when we do that. Because I want you today to start noticing where you're distracting yourself. For me, it was coffee. Believe it or not, it's really funny for me anyways. And I don't want you to judge it. Bad, good, it doesn't matter. It's about connection. It's about awareness. Because once you see it, you can start making different choices. So what we're doing is that we're taking this time, pooling all those steps from the step teams and translating them to kilometers. I know you guys do miles, we're doing kilometers. And I'm thinking that we're going to hit different milestones. And I'm hoping after today, we are going to be crossing the border into the US. And then we'll see where we end up. But I couldn't be more proud of the group. Everyone who's either walking on a walking pad, walking outside, we're seeing the steps. The other part I want to say is Cece is getting on the show. She's a part of this. So she is going to start her own step fam. She's got one person in there. She's got VA in there. If you want to be a part of the May challenge to see how far we can go across the globe, let me know. And I will get you on Cece's team. And then Cece sends me the steps. And then we start pinning. So we started in Toronto yesterday. And we've made it to Niagara Falls today. So who knows where we're going to be by next week. So if you want to be a part of it, I love it because we're moving our bodies, we're having fun, we're learning, and we're doing walk and talks. Walk and talks are the way to go. I'm telling you, you don't even feel that you're learning. It's so good. So I want to continue to invite you guys in and know that I'll have more of an update. The other update I have before I close with mantra. I love you guys, but this week has been a busy week. Tomorrow, I have another conference that I will be speaking at, big one, PR conference for women in North America. Woo! So I've got to make sure that I'm prepared. And I don't think I'll be back in time for 7. But what I will say, ladies and gents, if I am not on, sometimes CC will take my spot. If I'm not on, it does not mean that we stop walking. I can still see the numbers. I will calculate them in the morning. And I've started to post them on my profile to show you how far we've come. And then on my show, I will update. The busyness dial has gone up, but you will see me soon. I hope the notifications, you'll see me next week for sure. But I will still be marking the steps and still be posting them. Okay. Any other questions? Oh, Alicia, oh, you're the best. When I was going bee, I could hear the bees. And she's like, it's called being, as in BEE-ING, staying busy in my mom's superpower. Oh my God, I just learned something new. Okay, well, I love it. Anyways, I just want to say thanks so much, guys. I really appreciate all of you for being here, staying connected. And whew, I don't know if about you guys, but I'm like, on these walks, I totally get my sweat on. I'm like, all right, we're doing it. So excited. Okay, so are we ready for tonight's mantra? Bum, bum, bum. Here we go. So in order to get to tonight's mantra, we have to start to regulate, okay? So how do we do that? How do we regulate? Well, we'll start with a nice deep breath. Okay, so deep breath in through the nose, out through the mouth. One more time, in through the nose, out through the mouth. One more time. Just love it. Feels so good. In through the nose, out through the mouth. Okay. Repeat after me. I stop running from myself. I create space to listen, and I trust what I find. That's a huge part, guys. We got to trust the process. We got to let it unfold as it's meant to unfold. And remember, for those that want to connect in, reach out to me and I'll get you on Cece's team. If Cece's team gets full, then we're going to have another team captain. If you want to be a team captain, let's do it. All in, ladies and gents, all in. So I hope you have a fabulous night and enjoy the next show, the Kudos Show. Talk to you later. Bye.